I just wanted to tell you about a little fun adventure that I had during our break. I was involved with a group of people who were looking for the nest of a glossy black cockatoo. You hear me talk about glossy black cockatoos all the time, and I've told you before that you can identify the females from their markings. And so we know a lot about when they're around, but what we don't know about is when they're not here. Sometimes we will see a female and her partner for weeks or months at a time within a very discrete area, and then they just disappear, and sometimes they disappear for years. And we do not have a clue where they go. So we would like to be able to put a tracker on a juvenile bird if we possibly can. This has been done before and it's been done quite safely, so we're not anxious that we're risking the animal by doing it. But the first step is to find the nest. So what we did was, under instruction from somebody who's a bit of an expert, the first evening we got some reports of where glossies had been drinking at night. The last thing they do in the evening before they go to nest or to their roost is they have a big drink at a water spot somewhere. So we go to the water spot, we watch them drink, and then we record the trajectory that they fly out on. Then we have to wait another 24 hours. And at that evening, just as the sun goes down, we put one person at the waterhole, and then we put people at 500-metre intervals along the flight trajectory so that we can track them. So the person who is at the waterhole lets everybody else know on WhatsApp that the birds have left, and then spotter number 1, 500 metres away, says they've just flown over here. Spotter number 2 waits and then reports they've just flown over here, and so on down the trajectory. They usually fly straight, but sometimes they can take a turn. So, for example, spotter number 5 might see them and then they don't appear at spot number 6. If that happens, we then hope that spotter number 5 has tracked the trajectory for the next evening. We go back and start at place number 5 and follow the varied trajectory with placements of people all along the route until we get to the nest. So the group has done this already once, and they got to the point where they found the tree that had the hollow in it, and they were tracking the pair, just watching them. And unfortunately, that was just as we had that massive rain event, and after the rain event, the pair did not reappear. So that's one failed nest. So we had to start the whole process again.
Why would the rain have
Apparently
destroyed?
it just washes into the... It was
wrong
perhaps
shape. Wrong shape.
Yeah.
Spout going upwards or the wrong side where the rain can come in.
Which can be a problem, of course, for any birds.
All the hollow birds. I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just had to start going through the whole process again.
Oh, well, that's research for you. It's a tough business, actually, especially field work.
Yeah,
it's
that's
really
right.
hard.
And I didn't even mention in that discussion the challenge of the fact that much of those 500-metre spots are on private land, and we can't always get to them and get people at the right spot to be watching.
Right.
So it's been a challenge. We found a second pair and we've tracked them, but they've gone right down over the escarpment. It's very steep, so we don't think it's going to be that pair that we get to the hollow either.
With the private landowners, have you approached any of them and asked if they would be happy for you to just do that?
Yes, we have, and
work?
in general we're quite successful, but it puts another at least 24 hours into the process.
Of course, yes.
And people have been really very gracious and generous and let us onto their land, and it's been a privilege to go to some amazing spots.
I bet.
Yeah, it's really been wonderful.
That
but
sounds lovely.
no
Great
success
work.
as yet.
Yeah, well, it's a tough business, but are you going to keep going?
I think that the guy who's the nest finding gun has had to go back home. He's actually from Queensland.
Right.
So I'm not sure whether he's going to be back down again or not at this
Right.
point. It's a little bit up in the air.
Yeah.
And of course, eventually we'll get to the point where it's the end of the season and there'll be no point in
because
tracking
they're
them.
winter breeders, aren't they?
Yeah, because they're so gracious about sharing the hollows, they wait until all the other birds have completed their...
So polite.
Yeah, it's not doing
Or-
them any good.
I don't suppose it's because they're polite. I expect they just don't want any conflict.
They're just not aggressive. Yeah.
No.